Do you like fireworks? I love fireworks. I went to this fireworks display a month or so ago. Oh, it was great. And I thought to myself, man, I would love to draw some fireworks. So today, we are going to make a fireworks display that's wonderful. You're going to love it. See you in a minute, okay? Bye. So to start with, I'm going to use a pen. You might want to start with a pencil at first. Really, you don't have to have a pencil for this one. You could just use a crayon. You could use crayon or markers or coloring pencils. Any of these things will work because this is mostly about color. It's not so much, well, it really is about line too. Line's going to be really important in this, but color is going to be probably the biggest part of it, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is start by making the beginning of the drawing. Let me show you what I mean. Right back. Now, as I said, I'm going to be using a pen to start with, and you could use a pen or a crayon or a coloring pencil to do what I'm about to do. Now, the idea of fireworks, they're always performed at night. We always shoot fireworks in the evening when it's dark. So a lot of times when fireworks are shot, they're shot up into the air and things are somehow on the ground in front of them. And it creates what's called a silhouette, which means there's a black shadow in front of you. And I was thinking that one of the very most beautiful fireworks displays I've ever seen was this fireworks display when I was in Nashville. And many of the buildings of Nashville were in front of the fireworks. And later on, I was in Seoul, Korea, and saw the same thing. But the idea will be we're going to have a cityscape in front, and behind the cityscape and up in the sky, we're going to have fireworks. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is sort of make these lines that are supposed to be buildings. And I'm going to freehand them. You could use a ruler for this if you wanted to, but I'm going to freehand them. And in a few minutes, these will be colored in. But they're just sort of rectangles. And we kind of just want to make some rectangles. That one's a little crooked, I think. Maybe I should straighten it out. That's a little better. Ooh, that looks bad. It won't look so bad soon. This building is going to be right beside that building. But this is what you kind of want to do, is make buildings beside buildings. That one's going to have kind of a triangle on top of it. You don't want them to all be the same. Kind of something like that. Every once in a while you want the buildings to not touch. So these buildings are not touching. And you want to just sort of rough this out, because we're going to color it soon. This one's going to be wide. Yeah. That's not hard. That's pretty easy, huh? So now we've got these buildings. And what we want to do is, in random places, we want to make some windows. Not every, we don't want rows and rows of windows, but just sort of random windows here and there. just kind of make some rectangles that will be windows. And you don't want too many of them, but 3 or 4 in different places. Just pick a few places to make some windows. Something you kind of feel out, Yeah. Maybe this one's got a big triangular window. Ooh, that's nice. And maybe this window's a little smaller. You want to have some variety. Yeah, so we got these windows. And now we want to start coloring it in. And by coloring it in, what I really mean is that the buildings, because it's nighttime, will be dark. And by dark, I mean they're going to be black. And when you color this in, this will give you a chance to straighten out anything that you might have made a little crooked before. So this is, this is going to straighten these lines out some. Yeah, like that. So I'm going to start coloring this in and sort of making it look black. And remember, this black is what we call a silhouette. Wow, it's getting dark outside, huh? Whoa, you can tell our buildings are outside at night, which is kind of what the whole idea was, making a silhouette. So the light will be coming from behind. Now, I'm also kind of thinking to myself that I would like to make straight lines when I darken this in. And by that I mean, if you kind of look at it, this sort of coloring here takes a pattern. Even if I'm using a crayon or a coloring pencil, I kind of want to color in one direction. Now, I find using a ruler does that automatically. But more than that, it just looks neat. And I think it saves art material too. I think that I don't waste as much ink when I use a ruler. And I'm going to show you how I do that. It's not hard. And the thing is, you don't have to have a ruler. You can just use the side of a book or some other straight thing that you have. But it makes for very neat lines, which is what you want. You want to have a neat job. You want to do a neat job. You don't want to do a messy job, because you want to impress with this. When it's done, people go, wow, you did that yourself? Yeah, so all I do is I just sort of line it up and I just make a line. Move it a little bit and I make a line. Move it a little bit and I make a line. And you may say to yourself, but Sean, teacher, that takes forever. And I think it doesn't. Here's my thinking. I think that it's a much shorter time because I don't have to go back and recolor the places that I missed when I was coloring before. Because when I go back, it's really colored very well. So, yeah, this is how I kind of color things when I'm doing large areas like this and I need them to be kind of straight. I mean, if this were a flower, it wouldn't work because, flowers don't have straight lines. These are sort of man-made things that have straight lines. So you kind of want to get rid of the whole idea of it being organic at all. But when you're making natural things like trees or flowers, you certainly don't want to use a ruler. That would be silly. I'm making this line here so it'll be very straight. We don't want a crooked building. Oh no. So I just sort of spend my time going in one direction. And you see I left a little, I need to go back and kind of fix that. So I'll move my ruler a little bit. Yeah, there it goes. Anyway, yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. See how I'm filling it in? And see that sort of straight, nice pattern it makes? Very soon it's going to be dark outside and the fireworks are going to begin. Yay! And just like that, our buildings are silhouetted. So now we have to begin the fireworks display itself. And the easiest way for me to explain this is it is dark outside, yes, but so many fireworks are going off that for the most part our sky is going to be filled with colorful light. So how will we achieve this, you may ask? Well, perhaps we'll take a crayon and we'll make a dot here, just a dot. It's a red one, huh? And maybe we'll take a coloring pencil and make another dot here. And perhaps we'll take a marker and make another dot here. Now the reason why I chose a crayon and a coloring pencil and a marker was so that you could see that you don't have to have any special materials to do. You could do this with a plain pencil if you wanted to. It would all be gray, but it would still be beautiful. So the idea here is that we don't have to spend a lot of money to make this happen. We can make it beautiful just by randomly placing these colored dots throughout the sky of our drawing. I need a few more. I think maybe this red coloring pencil would work here. And perhaps this orange pen would work here. Oh yeah, that's very bright, isn't it? And you're saying to yourselves, but this doesn't look like fireworks to me. Not yet. It doesn't yet. But I think soon you'll get an idea for what I'm trying to do. I'm going to put a pink one here. I love pink. I like it. It's beautiful. Pink. Maybe one more. Maybe this time I will choose green. I'm going to put a green right here. And I'm going to put another green here. Good. It's moving along. Okay, so now that we're going to start our fireworks, and we've got our colored dots, I'm going to pick a dot. I'm thinking maybe this dot here. And I'm going to start making what I call a burst. And you could think of this like a flower if you wanted to. The thing that I need you to understand right now is that there are no set rules. The way I'm doing this doesn't necessarily have to be the way that you're doing it. I'm going to use 3 colors for this burst, but maybe I'll only use 1 color for that burst. It doesn't matter. It's just how you want to do it. So how do I do it? The first thing I do is I engage my imagination. I imagine. So I'm thinking to myself that there's probably some stream of light where this thing sort of shot into the air and it sort of wiggled as it went up. I think maybe you've seen that before. And then after it did, it exploded. Boom. So, rays of light went out. And I don't have to stay with the same color if I don't want to. I can move around and make different colors. And this one is very wiggly. These lines are very wiggly. They wiggle, wobble, and they move around like maybe spider webs. Maybe this one will be straight. I don't know. I think maybe I'll use a dark color this time. But they reach out just so far. And it makes kind of, I don't know if you would think of this like a bloom of a flower, or perhaps it could be, I don't know. It reminds me of flowers, to be honest with you. But I just make lots of wiggly color. And I choose different colors. And I go in between where the white is. This is going to reach all the way to the building. Starting to look interesting, huh? Maybe I'll use a red this time. And I'll just find the place that is white in between the other colors. And I'll try to fill that in with nice red color. And I'll keep doing this. I'm not trying really hard. I'm just trying to find some white places to put the red into. And I wiggle my hand a little bit. And you can see it's kind of taking a round shape, which is important. Yeah, that's looking fun. I think maybe the next color I will choose will be orange. But, you don't have to be especially, you don't have to be Leonardo da Vinci to do this. You can just be an average person. You don't have to have some crazy great art talent to do beautiful artwork. You just have a little fun and express yourself. You engage your imagination. You can hear possibly the fireworks exploding in your mind. Wow! It's fun! Now I think I'll use orange. I think it needs a little orange. Oh yeah. All the way to the edge. Now I'm really wiggling. And like I said, yours don't have to look like mine. You can make yours go any way that you want. But this is sort of the idea, that we're going to fill the sky with this kind of beautiful light show that is the fireworks exploding. And some of these shapes will be round. You could make some of them a different shape. Maybe you can make them in the shape of a cross or a star. It just depends on what you think. Remember, Sean Teacher says, your only limitation is your imagination. Well, I think we're starting to get somewhere. It's important to remember when you're doing this, you don't have to, I'm using a ruler some, I'm not using it in other places. You don't have to do any particular thing. The idea, more than anything, is to fill in the white spaces. Just to fill it in with color. And I think the sort of pattern and texture of this bloom that I'm working on is kind of straight lines. So I'm kind of doing the best I can to make some straight lines through here, kind of radiating out from the center. Now it's also important to remember that this is nighttime. So occasionally I want to take some black and fill in some white space to make it look dark in places. I don't have to always do it, but it's helpful to have some black and some gray. And you can just do this with a regular pencil, you know. You don't want to get rid of all the white because a lot of the white from the explosions is white light. So you don't have to be really neat or beautiful or talented or any of that. All you have to do is just sort of imagine what it's like to see fireworks exploding. That's kind of fun. Wow, it's really coming along, huh? I'm using the ruler a lot to make these straight lines. And what I think is really fun is the way that it can come down in between the building. Of course, you have to skip. Don't draw through your building. That would be bad. But yeah, look at how the lines are coming down. It's like an explosion of color. And just like that, our fireworks display is done. What do you think? So I had a lot of fun using the ruler, making straight lines. And I think the ruler really helped me for this. And it wasn't like I was measuring lines or anything. I was just making lines straight out from the center. So I didn't do that on every one. You know, here I made wiggly lines and here I made wiggly lines, but it kind of made it sort of fun to make it kind of burst like that. Now, there are places that you'll want to find to fill in with color. And a lot of times I use some black to make the thing a little darker. So you can see these black lines here. And it just made things a little darker. But you'll find places that you can fill in with color. You don't have to even use the ruler, just sort of color over the white with some color. Like that. But, hey, we did it! I'm sure yours is going to look really cool too. Let me zoom in on it a little bit so you can see it. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, look at those lines, huh? Ah! Okay. All right. So there it is. Our fireworks display. Yay! See ya. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.